I'm ready.
Happy Thursday, everyone, and welcome to The Breakdown, where we break down everything you need to know about high school football across the Panhandle. Before we wrap it up tomorrow night on The Wrap-Up, I'm Claudia Faust, joined by Lance Launer and Evan Abramson. I think we're just going to get right into this. Start with our game recaps. Last week, Levelland at Dumas. Dumas won 62-26. Guys, what do you remember about that game?
Go ahead, Evan.
Hey, well, you know, Spencer Williams was lights out as always. I was at that game. They started off a little sluggish, just a little bit, but, you know, they really picked it up. And the big thing that stood out to me, it's a big reason why Spencer Williams is one of the top quarterbacks in the Panhandle, because after he got hit a couple times, after he got a little panicked in the pocket, he then adjusted. The offensive line adjusted, and then he was doing what Spencer Williams does. He makes runs outside of the pocket after it collapses. He's able to make the throw on the run and create opportunities down the field. So that's why I think Dumas really picked it up. They did a great job and came away with the win, still undefeated, moved up in the rankings to number 3 now from number 4.
I love it. I love it. The silent assassin getting it done. Dumas cranked out 28 points in the third quarter. Manuel Ibanez had that 48-yard punt return. Check out these numbers. And then they called off the Dogs because it was 55-12 after 3. 22nd regular season win in a row, 12 straight at home. When you go up to Dumas, expect to take an L.
Moving on to the Canyon at Borger game, number 10 ranked Canyon beat the Bulldogs 40-3. It's a big win for Canyon. Unfortunately, another tough loss for Borger. What'd we think? Evan.
Hey, you know, Canyon, because of that win, now moved up to number 7. They were number 10, but a big win for Canyon, taking down Borger. Look, we're going to talk a little bit more about Canyon, whether their offense or their defense is more impressive. But right now, every facet of the game is working for Canyon's favor. Borger, they're just trying to get together, and they're not getting much help by playing these star-studded teams that are surrounding them in the Panhandle, Lance.
Yeah, and Evan, they started off fast. Canyon's up 20-0. No hesitation in their game at all after the end of the first quarter. They end up outgaining Borger 405-162 in total yards. Man, I don't know what was in the water in Canyon when they were birthing all these babies back then, but they all decided to name their kids with a J. You got Jay DeFord quarterbacking. You got Joe Shaw catching passes. You got Jack McKay. The Killer Jays are just getting it done now. And don't forget the Cook. Brody Cook is had his third 100-plus rushing game against Borger. It is rolling and doing well in Canyon, Texas.
The Killer Jays. I'm not going to forget that one. But since we're talking about Canyon, guys, what do you think? Offense or defense? Who's better? I'm going offense. Jay DeFord, just like you said, he might be the entire reason. But what do you think, Lance?
Well, I'm going defense. I'm going to go against you a little bit there, Claudia. They're the ball hawkers. They have 11 turnovers in 3 games. And while we just talked about the rock stars, Cookie and the Jays, I'm going with the how do you like that? I'm going with the purple people eaters. That's a blast from my past. And here's why. On that defense, they have allowed 3 points in the last 8 quarters. That means no touchdowns against Estacado or Borger. Let's give a shout out to the leaders of that unit. Free safety Jet Meek, linebackers Rafe Butcher and Blake Wilhelm, and then DN Shane Whitworth. They are a tough out on that defense. Love Kenyon's offense, don't get me wrong, but let's give the D a shout out.
Hey,
Evan.
Look, I mean, my big thing is the offense has been overpowering opponents left and right. Yes, the defense has been doing so also, but my problem is, and the reason I'm going with the offense being the more superpowered filled team, part of that team, is because look at the opponents that Canyon has played. Yes, it's unbelievable. Great job by the defense that they've stopped opponents to just 31 points on the season in 3 games. And keep in mind that first game, 28 of those points came into account. But the offense has been off the charts. You mentioned all those names, Jay DeFord, Brody Cook. I mean, Brody Cook is showing that the running game did not take a step back when they lost Aiden Hildinger last year.
I'm with you, Evan. Maybe we'll change our minds down the line once we see them face some bigger and better teams. But let's keep talking about teams around the Panhandle. Which team do you guys think is going to make it all the way to the state championships? I'm going Dumas because when's the last time they even lost, Evan?
Well, Lance brought it up, 22 regular season games. I mean, they did lose deep into the playoffs last year. But look, I think the real question is which team has the best odds to get there. I got to go Dumas. I mean, this Demon squad has been unbelievable, and there's a reason why. The coaching's on point with Aaron Dunham and his coaching staff. The quarterback is stellar in Spencer Williams, and they have a great linebacker in secondary that has improved upon last year. So I got to go Dumas, but Lance is about to bring up a team that I think also has a great chance of going all the way to the state title. It just depends on that classification you're looking at.
Yeah, as you guys well know, I love the Demons, and Wellington as well, I think has a shot. But I got to go with those Canadian Wildcats in Class A.
Great pick.
That's 3A Division 2. And that's because of Chris Kenny. Hey, do this. Last year they lost in the state semis, a heartbreaker to eventual champion Gunter, 27-20. The year before, they were in the state championship game. These cats are hungry. And plus, when you have the trigger man in Josh Colwell, that's what you need in that offense. That NASCAR offense is like none other anybody faces. I think it's Canadians' year. We will learn a lot in the next 2 weeks after. They've got Spearman and Childress on their schedule, so we'll see how that goes. But I'm going Wildcats, state champs.
All right, Evan and Lance, let's move on to the Pick'ems. Quick recap. Evan and I are tied 9-3. Lance is just blowing everyone out of the water 11-1. Thanks, Lance. So I'm going with a weird strategy for this one. But first one here, Randall at Palo Duro. Well, at Dick Bivens, but what do you guys think? Who do you got?
I'll go first. I'm going to take Randall. These are two former Dons that are head coaches for this unit, so it's going to be kind of an interesting matchup. But I think with new quarterbacks on both these offenses, we're going to see a little sloppiness in this. I think the team that avoids the most turnovers will win this game, and I think that will be Randall.
I agree with Lance. I think Randall's taking this game. I don't think it's going to be necessarily a point-for-point game. I think it's going to be about a 14-point margin, maybe 21. I think one team is really going to run away with it in the second half, and I think that team is going to be Randall.
I'm sort of with Evan on this one, although I think it's going to be a close game, but I'm going Palo Duro. My reasoning, those guys got to be healthy. They're wearing their masks. They're hardcore about it. So, if there's any team that's going to be out there grinding and be healthy for it, I'm going Palo Duro. But the next matchup is Childress.
Hey, by the way, guys, real quick, Coach Fish gave a shout out to his grandmother. She is on, believe it or not, my Meals on Wheels route. So let's say a shout out to Willa. Get healthy.
Yes, get healthy. We definitely want to see that. Okay, Childress at Spearman. Evan.
I got to go Spearman. Don't doubt Brennan Thompson and Jack Wilkerson. That duo is unbelievable, unstoppable, marvelous. Use any adjective you want to use. But the one thing they are is ferocious on offense, and that is what's going to keep them winning. They're going up against an undefeated team in Childress, but guess what? Spearman's undefeated too, and that's the way it's going to stay after this game. For our game of the week, Lance, you'll actually be there at that game.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to that matchup. We should see some terrific offense on display. Whoever makes the stop on defense will win that. Man, Jason Sims and Childress is hearing Spearman. They're sick of hearing Spearman. And Evan just called him ferocious. But I'm going with Spearman.
And I'm going with Childress to go against the grain because this is how my strategy of winning is going to go. But last one we'll talk about, Amarillo at Midland Lee. Lance, you can start.
Yeah, hey, I like Amarillo High. You know how much I appreciate the Dunham brothers coaches and what they do over there. And we had a great interview with Will during the summer. So, I love me some Amarillo High. But here's the deal about Midland Lee. Their quarterback, Mikey. Mikeys don't scare anybody, in my opinion, in this world. But this Mikey is frightful. This kid led all of 6A in total yardage last year. Midland Lee this is how good they are. They've got a chance to win that 6A district and make a run in the playoffs. There's no shame in this game if they lose, but I got to go Midland Lee, but I'm hoping I'm wrong.
Hey, I got to go Amarillo. I believe in Chad Dunham. I think Will Maynard is the real deal. Davin Lemons showed unbelievable speed and unbelievable route running skills in that scrimmage that they had against Odessa Permian. So I'm going Amarillo. I think they're going to rise to the occasion and take down Midland Lee. I think it's going to be a close game, but I think Amarillo's going to get the win on the road.
Evan, I'm with you on this one 100%. I'm going Amarillo, especially after hearing from Coach Dunham yesterday. He knows this is a challenge. Their team knows that this is a challenge, but they're ready to rise to the occasion. And he even talked about this game that down the line, this could be a game that they look back on that got them to the playoffs. Facing teams this tough early on is going to pay off for them, and I think winning against a team this tough is going to pay off for them. So I am also going with Amarillo. But guys, we're at the best part, according to Evan. Lance, it's time for your famous shout-outs.
Oh, wow, Claudia, that's a big endorsement there, okay?
No pressure, no
Claudia,
pressure.
You better give her a great nickname on this Friday's wrap-up.
Yeah, no, I'll have to come up with something special. Evan, Claudia, you can ask Claudia. We were ready to go play after we heard what Coach Dunham had to say yesterday at the press conference. So, hey, a couple of quick shout-outs here. Good old Dick Bivens is finally hosting a game, turning on the Friday Night Lights for the first time when Paladuro hosts Randall. Bivens was built in 1950. So this is the latest first game that has ever been played out there in the stadium, and that is 70 years. So it's good to see the lights back on at Bivens. And hey, here's one to first-year Muleshoe coach Jason Richards and those Mules. Muleshoe moved to 2-2 this season with a 21-14 win over Tulia last week. That's 2 more wins than the Mules had all of last year.
Well, guys, I think that's going to bring me to my famous shout-outs. They're not famous yet, but I want to say thank you to our producer, Brady, who's right here, came up with this awesome name for this show, The Breakdown, and Caitlin, our digital producer. We couldn't do it without you guys. Thanks for watching The Breakdown. I'm Claudia Faust, Lance Launer, Evan Abramson. You just watched The Breakdown. Now, tomorrow, we're going to wrap it all up for you on the wrap-up at 11:05.